Hey everybody, Livingston here. Today we're jumping into another episode of the Twilight Zone. This time it's episode 26, Execution. Came out March 31st, 1960, and it's another episode I haven't seen. And it seems to be a thing here lately in season 1. I think I've only seen maybe 1 or 2 episodes in this season. Other than that, it's all been brand new to me, and I'm loving every single episode. Some of them have been great, others have been good. There has not been a bad episode yet, and I'm so thrilled about that. You know, it's very hit and miss when it comes to television these days. I mean, there's some very good television out there, but there's some very crappy television as well. And Twilight Zone seems to be hitting on all cylinders in season 1. Not a lot of episodes that I can think of were like, oh, I can care less to see it again. I would love to actually watch these episodes again at some point in the future just because they're so entertaining with simplistic camera movements, and the stories themselves have been fairly simple because it's like one big twist. A lot of them that you do see, you know, some of them you see coming, some of them you don't. Of course, I love the ones where you're like totally mystified at the very end of like what was happening. And I'm looking forward to just keep going with this and seeing what Twilight Zone's going to bring up next. And that's this episode coming up. So if you haven't seen the Twilight Zone episode with me, I have done the first 25. And we're going to keep on trucking to episode 36 of this season and get finished with season 1. And after season 1, we're going to jump into a little bit of a podcast and kind of talk about the season and also go over my top 5 episodes as well as my bottom 5 episodes. And I'd love to hear your thoughts when we have that episode at the end of this season. So stay tuned for that. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe while you're at it. Would appreciate that. So let's get rolling.
It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
Boom. Tilt down. Oh, looks like we're in a Western this time.
Commonplace, if somewhat grim, unsocial event known as a necktie party.
Necktie party. We're gonna hang 'em high.
Mr. Joe Caswell, who, when the good Lord passed out a conscience, a heart of feeling for fellow men, in the last quiet moment of a violent life.
Guess he deserves it, huh?
No need. I ain't interested in prayers.
In your immortal soul, Caswell. Are you interested in that?
Yeah.
It's gonna be your pleasure to see that it's stretched a couple of feet.
If there's an afterlife, you know, I'd at least want maybe a little prayer.
You got anything to say? It's your right, you know.
The young fella I put a hole in had too much mouth, not enough brains.
So he started it.
Son in the back, Caswell. The more you kick, the more justice I figure there is in the world.
How about it? Can't we get it over with?
He's in a hurry.
You're a disease. All right, get on with the job.
Okay. What's gonna happen? He hanged. I guess they buried him. Oh, he disappeared. I thought it was like time elapsing.
What happened to him?
Wow. All right. Mystery right off the bat.
Try to relax.
Okay, what happened? Who is this guy?
You're a long way from home, old friend. Where? You're in New York City.
Okay.
Years from the last moment of your recollection.
So they plucked him out of time, huh?
What's happened to you involves principles which you wouldn't understand. But you've got a most distinguished future. You're the first time traveler in the history of man.
Wow.
I'm going to introduce you to a whole new world.
And he thought he was going to die.
And you're going to tell me about an old one.
By the way, that's Russell Johnson. He played the professor in Gilligan's Island. I knew I'd recognized him. I just couldn't place it. He has a different voice in this. You were hanging? So how did he just like pick a random person?
Desperately tired, so I put him to bed. His name is Joseph Caswell. Recollection was November 14th, 1880.
Okay.
He awoke to find himself on the cot of my laboratory.
So he lied.
Only in the last few moments did he seem to have any grasp of what has occurred.
Well, you brought back a pretty violent guy, so really gonna make you wonder what's gonna happen. I mean, this guy's basically his savior. I'd be praising him and going, I got a new start at life. Let's do it.
There are the marks of a rope etched deeply into his neck. He has no explanation for this. I get a feeling that I've taken a 19th century primitive and placed him in a 20th century jungle. And heaven help whoever gets in his way.
Well, right now you are. Yeah, it makes you wonder what he's going to do. Creates that suspense, you know. But you want one?
Now I want to look at that world out there.
Yeah, I'd be interested in the future as well.
Carriages without horses and the buildings that
They're
rise
out
just...
there, Caswell. Things you can't imagine.
Look out there. Yep. A little loud for you?
I know all about right and wrong.
You were at the end of a rope, weren't you, Caswell? And I got to you in that one fraction of a moment before your neck was broken.
I stopped counting after 20.
Damn.
I'm going to have to send you back.
I would have said something differently.
They sound good in this nice warm room with a nice full stomach. They sound nice and they go down easy.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you're not in his shoes. You don't know the circumstances he took alive. Maybe they weren't innocent people. Maybe they were assholes, you know? I don't know. But
another man's jacket stands between you and staying alive.
But it sounds like he killed to get what he wanted from what he's stating. So, yeah. I mean, if you're killing in self-defense or something, sure, but...
In this machine of yours, and you go back to where I was. And your order and your justice, they're gonna sound different.
Yeah.
I know your kind. You come out in your warm trains rolling over the graves of men like me.
Was he gonna kill him? Oh, man. Now he's got a gun. Is he gonna run off?
I don't like his looks. I don't like the eyes or the face or the expression. I get a feeling that I've taken a 19th century primitive and...
Did he kill him? Or did he just knock him out?
And heaven help whoever gets in his way.
I think he might have killed him. I mean, he didn't get up. It's too much for him. You really thought this out, huh? He's one of those people that acts on instinct. Hey, a Dutch angle. We haven't seen one of those in a little while. He just doesn't know what to do. What is this thing? Say hello.
Please deposit 25 cents. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Oh no! Like a rat in a cage. No one saw that?
What'll it be?
What the hell? Well, you broke the man's jukebox.
There's so much noise.
Look, buddy, if you don't pay for it, I'm gonna have to. So let's have no trouble, huh? If you got any...
Oh, he's got a gun.
Easy, pal, easy.
Just bring me one of those.
What the hell is that?
Nothing, pal. No argument. No argument.
The gun's right there. Just grab it.
That thing? That's a jukebox. Just a plain old jukebox. You been in stir, buddy?
I need some sleep. Those things that are running around.
What things?
Those carriages without horses.
Cars?
And the noise.
Buddy, why don't you go home and sack down, huh? Here, take these home with you.
Yeah, go ahead. Get out of my place, too.
Well, don't you know what that is?
No, he's from
It's a window.
80 years ago. Uh-oh. He's gonna shoot it.
All right, hombre.
Turn the channel.
All right, cowboy, you gotta pay for this.
Oh, man. Is he just gonna end up exactly where he was? This time, like, in the electric chair or something? Oh, killed a guy. Yeah, he's definitely going to jail now. So he went back.
Help me, please. Help me.
Okay, who are you?
It looks like you got here before me. Saved me a little trouble. Thanks.
Sure.
So the place being dark, I figured I'd be all alone.
Okay. He's a cowboy. Oh no. Is he gonna hang him? Really? That's all it took? It just seems a little too easy, you know? Now, is this guy gonna send himself back in time to, like, the rope where he starts hanging? Or the Roman days or something, you know? It sounds like sound effects from Star Trek. That's probably where Star Trek got it from. Oh, what's in here? I wonder. See ya. Boom, he's gone. Where'd he go? Oh, he's gonna be hanging. Is he dead?
So what kind of clothes are they?
Yeah, I guess he just arrived dead.
This is not casual, Reverend.
No, he's dead. I thought he was breathing for a minute.
What kind of devil's work is this?
I don't know if it is devil's work.
I did notice they never showed them hang. They only showed the rope burns and they showed shadows of it, or they showed that it was being done, but they never showed someone's neck being wrapped with a rope in this episode. Probably because of the rating of it.
The victim's name, Paul Johnson, a minor league criminal and the taker of another human life. Retribution is not subject to account. Tonight's case in point, in the Twilight Zone.
You know, it was interesting. I liked the way it all kind of wrapped up too, because when they killed the cowboy, thinking that this was all going to revolve around him and like kind of end with him, it just makes you go, you know, at first I'm like, oh man, they killed him, and then this guy ends up going back and taking his place at the rope. I thought that was a nice little touch at the end. I was a little disappointed until I saw what was happening with him being put into the time machine and being sent back in time. And it was just sad to see that the professor didn't really make it that far into the episode. Like, he just showed up, he was the professor in this one as well, ends up being killed by the guy he ends up bringing back to the future. And kind of sad that the guy, he was in a more modern era and he couldn't get the Neanderthal way of thinking out of his head. He ended up just being what he was, a killer, an animal that needed to be put down. And it was basically just like the guy who killed him, going back and basically finding justice. Everybody had justice in this story. So, very awesome story. I liked it. I'm not sure where it'll rank when it comes to my top 5, but I'm looking forward to it. It's definitely not going to be in the worst 5, so guarantee that for sure. I enjoyed this episode very much so. But, you know, let's get into some trivia, see what we're getting into with what it took to make this episode a possibility. Much of the equipment, like the dials, machinery, and even the large transparent globe, was also used in Forbidden Planet 1956, Satellite in the Sky 1956, and World Without End 1956. Crazy that it was all 1956 for those movies. And Forbidden Planet pops up yet again as helping out another Twilight Zone episode, so that's pretty cool. Professor Mannion's tape recorder was a Mohawk midget tape which retailed for $249. The background noises heard in the time machine were later reused in Star Trek 1966. They were previously heard in Third from the Sun 1960 and Eulogy 1960. That's crazy. I knew that it was in Star Trek, didn't know that it was Third from the Sun, which I don't even know what that is. And Eulogy, I'm not sure I know what that is either. This episode takes place on November 14th, 1880, and in 1960. Okay. After Where Is Everybody 1959, this is the second time that a frantic character locks himself in a phone booth. Okay. Russell Johnson plays a professor in this, just like he did in Gilligan's Island, 1963. When Caswell leaves the bar, he stops in front of a place called Jim Henry's Paradise. The same sign was used in Cabin in the Sky, 1943. Albert Salmi appeared in The Twilight Zone Execution, A Quality of Mercy, and of late, I think, of Cliffordale, 1963, all of which involve time travel. In Execution and Cliffordale, his characters are very unlikable, although this is not the case in Quality. Well, that's it. That was The Twilight Zone, episode 26, Execution. Looking forward to the next episode, and I enjoyed having you along for the ride as well. If you want to join in on the adventure to episode 156, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to join in on the fun. Until next time, see you later.